I last set before the pandemic. Y'all don't know who this is, probably literally, but y'all know the nails, you know the hands. She's back, but nails are much shorter now. But we're gonna get it back together. Let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Top of the Sky Nails is my legal name. I'm just playing, it's not. And this is, like I said, we all know who this is. And if you don't, go watch my old videos. You'll see her hand and probably some of my best favorite sets, except those rainbow ones I just recently did. Watch those. Anyways, so these are her nails. I know, don't talk about my client, okay? So she hadn't been getting them done. She wore those nails as long as she could. Eventually, they were removed. At some point in time, she put on some press-ons, and she wanted them off, and they adhered too well, and she didn't realize how well they could last, because press-ons can last. I used to make them and sell them. I don't anymore. Please don't ask. They were a pain for me. There's many and plenty of people that do them and enjoy it. It's not for me. But anyways, press-ons can last 2, 3, 4 weeks, depending on how you apply them, the glue, the technique. Yeah. So she had some, she told me, and she didn't want them on anymore, and she tried to take them off, and it, I guess, peeled up some of her natural nail on a few of her fingers, and so you see some of her nails look bitten, and they're not, they are damaged, but we're trying to protect them and growing back out. So let's talk about what's going on in the actual video. I'm using the skiver bit to remove the cuticle that's grown on her nail plate, and because she hasn't been here in so long, there was a lot of work to do. You know, once you start have clients, or doing on yourself, or whatever the situation is, you kind of maintain it in a way. You know, you're coming every 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, and you're able to kind of keep it in check. Well, over a year later, it hasn't really been in check. So there's a lot of dead skin on her eponychium, and of course the cuticle, and we're just trying to get that together. Now, don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell so you know when I'm uploading. Let's get back to the video. So you could use a pusher and push back the eponychium, which is the live skin. It'll kind of connect with that cuticle and kind of grow on the nail plate. So you actually literally need to push that skin back to get that kind of, with my air quotes, horseshoe type shape that we want on our cuticle. Usually the thumbs don't have this shape, and everybody's different, but you know, kind of getting that arch type shape. So I chose to kind of do it with the bit. It kind of helps push it back, and I use it in different directions. At certain points I'll switch and I'll change the direction of the e-file. So when it is forward, if you're right-handed, you file from right to the left, because that's the way it's spinning is the direction, means you need to go from right to left. Sorry. And when you put it in reverse, you will need to go from left to right. So at some point you'll see me, and probably with the round bit, and I'm not sure if I caught it, I go back and forth because you can get different angles of the nail going different directions. And this is the only time I use going in a different direction, when I'm doing cuticle work, dry manicure. Otherwise, I don't use that. If you're left-handed, of course, you will put it in the reverse and go from left to right. But I do that, like I said, it's easier in reverse as a right-handed person to get that top right, the part I'm working at right now. It's easier to get that in reverse. I mean, I can get to it, as you can see, but in reverse, it's a bit easier to get to the top right side of the nail. So that's just a little tip if you struggle. And this is when you're working on a client. It's kind of different when you're working on your own hands as well. So I'm using that skiver bit, and getting down the side walls of her nail. And I kind of will, with that bit, because it is a diamond bit, and I always say this, it is essentially the equivalent of a sanding band but in metal form. So there's no teeth that's going to tear your skin or your natural nail apart. It's basically the texture of a sanding band. It's just metal grit sanding band, and it's absolutely fine on the skin, on the nail plate, not at a high speed, not pressing hard, and it's perfectly safe. So you can go over the entirety of the nail with that bit to remove shine. Later in the video, you'll see me using the crosscut bit from Atwood Industries. All these bits are from Atwood Industries. This is the round bit, and you'll see me remove the shine and buff her nail to create a nice texture for our enhancement to hold on to. So as mentioned, I'm using that round bit, and I'm doing it to kind of flake off the dead skin that has grown on our eponychium and any remaining cuticle that was on the nail plate that might have been lifted up. We're just kind of kicking that off. And the thing is, it's a little bit too much of dead skin for this to completely handle, especially in a timely fashion. So I clip with cuticle nippers the dead skin. I'm not removing and cutting off her eponychium. I'm not doing that. That's a barrier to protect your live skin. I'm not doing that. Okay, so there's a lot of comments. Don't talk to me about it. Y'all can talk to each other. You can talk to your state rules if you're a licensed nail technician, okay? In the state that I live in, we can nip dead skin, and that's all I'm doing is dead skin. Okay, we got that out there. So I nip that off, and I'm really not trying to let this be my final step. I'm just trying to remove the excess of skin so I continue with my buffer and buffing the skin smooth and flaking off that dead skin. But it's just, it's too much excess of the dead skin. That wasn't a well put together sentence, but you know what I mean. And so once I get that taken care of, I'll go back in with the round bit and kind of any uneven pieces I may leave with the nippers. And like I said, this was only getting the excess. I want to continue to be able to remove the dead skin. I like to clip any hangnails. Y'all can discuss if y'all like to do that or not. They hurt. They're inconvenient. They don't look good. They get caught on things. So I just take a boom, clip it off. If it's actively bleeding, we do not address that. I don't deal with active and open wounds. But it wasn't. So it was just boom, nip that. So you see, I'm going in with that round bit again, just continuing to flake off that skin. She has a little bit of a hangnail left right there. At some point, I clip that down. And I'm just going, boom, right there. I'm going back and forth with this round bit, and I'll change directions. You see I'm going from right to left. At some point, I'll go from left to right, change my E-file just to buff that skin down. And I just wanted to, one, I probably haven't done the best in including a very detailed dry mani. So I wanted to show you guys, and also for the RPMs that the E-file's on, of course, I always recommend you to try it on yourself and start off low. You don't want it so slow that when you press, the E-file won't spin anymore. You know what I'm saying? You press it down and like, and bogs down. You don't want it that slow, like at 2, 3, 4,000 RPMs. But I would say try this at about 6 and maybe turn up. I wouldn't probably go past 9, but definitely try it on yourself if you're new to it before you try it out on clients, so you can get how it feels and kind of remember where it feels more comfortable. And I generally use the round bit a little bit higher than I do the skiver bit on the natural nail. That's me. So maybe the skiver bit at about 5,000-6,000 RPMs, but again, try it out on yourself first. And now I'm using that crosscut bit like I told you, again, from Atwood Industries. This is the large crosscut bit. I get questions all the time. It's a large one. I also have the small one. It's, whatever suits you and your needs. I have both. I like them both. So I'm just removing shine, and I'm not filing off her natural nail at all. I'm going gently, skimming over the top surface of her nail. I can go in with a buffer and buff this all out, nice, smooth, and slick. so we're not damaging the nail and adding any ring of fire, any major indentation. You see she has nail that's peeling off. Kind of like to go over that and flake that off a little bit. And so we're using the Gel X full cover soft gel extensions, and these are sculpted, which means they have a more intense C curve to them. And I am going in and figuring out which sizes, and these are the medium stiletto. I believe they're sitting right next to me as you seen it, what it was. And so for some of her nails, it doesn't fit properly, so I had to go in and file it. It's a little bit, she's like in between sizes. And also, if you can see the box, I kind of have an old set of the tips, and they had, I don't know if they still do, but some of their sizes were kind of weird, like they were a big jump from one size to the next. So anyways, nevertheless, I'm filing down the tip around the cuticle area to go ahead and try to shape it to her nail so we don't have the actual Gel X tip sitting on her skin. So I am holding it up to her natural nail. You don't want to press it too flat because it can cause the nail, especially because these are sculpted, it can cause the nail to squeeze. When I say the nail, the Gel X nail to squeeze the natural nail too much if you're trying to press it too flat. So when you size them, don't try to press it like super very flat. That's not the best way to say that. Because I mean, if you're trying to get, like, if you have a very large thumb and you're trying to stretch that biggest tip to fit it, okay, you can try that a little bit, but it still you may find that it can hurt you. But it depends on how rounded the surface of your nails are. So that's a whole nother conversation, a whole nother time. So I'm using, I dehydrated the nail. I used a primer. It wasn't Protein Bond, but it was something like Protein Bond. It was an acid-free primer. And then I'm using the Extend Gel, and I'm applying a thin layer on her natural nail, and it's the bottle edition. They have it in a jar as well, but I personally like it in the bottle, the brush. And I'm just applying a thin layer as close to the cuticle area as possible, just polishing it on. Now, if these, like I said, these tips are a little bit older, they're in their old packaging, and they don't really have a crazy C curve to them, in my opinion. But if they did and my client's nails were super flat, which they're not, you could build up the middle of their natural nail with the Extend Gel just to kind of mimic an arch or a more curvier surface to the natural nail, if that makes sense. Like, make like a peak to it. Yeah, that's just a little tip, if you know what I mean. It may be confusing, but maybe we'll get to it another time and talk about it. So as you can see, I buffed the inside of the Gel X tips. I etched them and dusted them off. Now, they do have a product that etches it, so you don't have to. They're just out of stock, and I've been wanting to purchase it, and I haven't been able to. So if you have that product, by all means, use that instead of having to go in with the e-file and buff it. We do that so we can ensure amazing adhesion between this tip and our base and all our products. All right, so I apply a thin layer to probably the area that I think her nail is going to be, and then I apply the bulk of the product, and not a lot, and it takes me some time. I'm gonna be offering Gel X a lot now to my clients, so it does take a little bit of a learning curve, and in time I know I will, not that I'm saying I'm bad at it, but I know it will be easier, and I'll be able to judge the amount of product even better. When I first got it, it was tough, and now it's much better. I feel confident. I just know with time things get better, right? So as you can see, I apply that down the nail, just a layer, and then the bulk of the product start at 45-degree, push it down, work hard not to get any air bubbles, and then I'm taking the LED light and curing the nail and moving my finger so I can ensure that it's flash cured. And once I get all the nails done on a hand, I have her put it in the light to fully cure. We're just flash curing it just to make sure it adheres. So now, to me, is the most important part with the Gel X tips or an enhancement system like this. And this is, I know some people are like, oh, it's just press-ons. No, you got to have a lot of knowledge, a lot of, I believe, you can try to do it on yourself. I don't even think they sell to people who are not licensed anymore. I think they weren't, then they were for a second, and then they're not again, but I may be wrong. Anyways, you still have to have a lot of knowledge about the prep. That was always speaking the surface of the nail, how to fix it, and everything like that. This is to create a faster service, if you will, a more streamlined service. It doesn't make it any less professional. It doesn't mean you have to have any less knowledge. It's just if we can get you done and get you beautiful and looking right quicker, but still with professional products, the knowledge, the time, the effort spent, then why not? This is not made out of plastic. As I said, it's soft gel. It's formed soft gel. So this is a gel nail. It's not a little plastic flimsy tip. Me personally, I've worn these, and I worn these way before I offered them to clients when they first came out, when their packaging was even different from what that old box you've seen. It was a clear box. And I have personally only broken one Gel X nail that I can remember. Not to say that they can't be broken, of course they can, but they're very, very durable as long as you're mindful of your nails and your length and everything like that. So I am going in around the cuticle area. You see I went with that crosscut bit and I blended in the cuticle area to make it more flush, to make these appear more natural. They aren't press-ons, but they could have that appearance if you're not careful, to taper that down so they look like any regular enhancement, which essentially they are. I could build a nail out of gel. It would just take me more time, more effort, more strain on my arms and hands, which we don't want at all. So this just streamlines that. It's if I built a nail and popped it off. Smoothed it out, did all the work, but we didn't. Got there. So you see I'm just gaining the shape, kind of getting that little tab off the end and getting the shape together. She does, like I said, she had some nails that look kind of nail biter-esque, that very short, stocky look. So we need to get those grown out. They will look a little funny when they're at that length. They're missing some of the side wall. So we'll get past that. We'll give her about, a couple more sets and we'll get there. But this is just starting out, getting back to it, getting something on the nails, getting them to grow out and be healthy so we can get them back curvy and just natural and voluptuous as they were. So I wipe the nails off with acetone. And again, if you have the etcher product that Gel X sells, I forget what they actually call it, you can use that in place of acetone. What that does is remove the shininess and slickness of the surface. It kind of, just on the surface, because these do soak off with acetone, it kind of melts it a little bit. Not anyway to mess with the integrity of the nail, but just to create texture on the nail. And I say melt it, that's not the proper term, but just for lack of a better one. And it adds texture and removes that shine, that slickness, so that our gel can adhere to it. Now I'm using this beautiful red. It is very, very close to Madam Glam's Perfect Red. If you want something similar, you can use code Tabitha and the number 30 for a discount at Madam Glam. Perfect Red. Like I said, it's super similar. And is it what I use? I don't think it's what I use. But it's very close. So If you want something that applies well and is just a bold standout red, that would be one. So I'm applying it as close to the cuticle area as possible. Red, you do not want to get wrong. You do not want to mess up and get in the cuticle area. You want to take your time and polish it as perfectly as possible. So I applied 2 coats of that, and then I am topping it with a matte top coat. If you want a recommendation for a great matte top coat, the Luxa Velveteen Matte or the Daily Charm Velvet Matte Top Coat, and you can use code Tabitha and the number 10 for a discount at Daily Charm. Those are both very great matte top coats. I'm testing out one here, but if you want some in the meantime, those are great ones. So just applying that, and when you apply your matte top coat, please apply it slowly, carefully, very strategically. You do not want to mess up matte. You want to get it right the first time, because trying to reapply and do it a second time is not a thing at all. So apply it slow, apply it evenly, and apply it to everywhere you need to apply it so you don't have to go back in again. So now I'm using, and this is a very important, a very great color to have in your set. This is Milk Bath. It's a milky kind of sheer white from Daily Charm. And again, use code Tabitha and the number 10 to get a discount when shopping. There's a link down below in the description bar as well. This is like I said, a very good color just to have in your arsenal for various things. Absolutely love it. And I'm using more and more from Color Club. And what I'm doing is trying to get this certain tone of color that she had showed me. So it's kind of a milky whitish pink. And more is a sheer pink, which I think is great to have in the stash too from Color Club. And so I just layered these two together and end up getting exactly that, a sheer milky whitish pink. And then after I applied this coat, I went ahead and applied a second coat. So there's one coat of the sheer white, which is Milk Bath from Daily Charm. It's their Charm Gel. And then 2 coats of the More, which is that sheer pink you see me applying right now. So these 2 nails are going to feature our abstract art. And my client showed me a picture, and I can't recall where it's from right now. And I dig it up, but I'm trying to record a video. I can't do both at the same time. Record a voiceover. And so this is very simple to do. I was about to say dirt simple, like that's a phrase, like dirt cheap. It was dirt simple. Okay. And I just took that red that we had, and I'm going to take a white. You can use a pigmented white. Wildflowers has their art gels. Madame Glam has perfect white. There's a lot of good whites, highly pigmented white. Things, when you use art gels, when you're doing color work, you want something very pigmented, because if you're doing line work, a lot of time you don't want to go over a line twice, especially like very detailed. This isn't that. It's not too crazy. It's very simple. You see, I'm just taking the brush and stroking it. But when you're doing line work and detailed art in general, you want something very pigmented. So when you draw it once, that's it. You don't have to go over it twice unless, some extenuating circumstances. But so I took that red, applied it, as you've seen, very simply, and cured it. And then I'm taking the white and doing the same thing and kind of overlapping it with the red a little bit, and giving it that brushed, what would you call this? Like a brush sketch. It looks like scribbles. It's just abstract art, Like, why are we trying to define it? Let's not. Okay? And we're just doing that. And I want to make it look as haphazard as possible. And I did that, then I realized I could probably just do that and apply just a row of the gel polish first, just to get that pigment through the center, and then kind of pull it out to get the, different lengths and depths of the lines coming out, which makes it look, we won't define it, like I said. And it's a pretty simple and cute look, and you can try it. You can use this technique for a lot of different things. Do different colors, do it in ombre, down the nail, whatever you want to do, girl. So, or guy. And after that, we're going to top coat it. We decided to do these 2 nails shiny. Use your favorite no wipe top coat and cure that in the light. And you are going to be done. That's it. That's simple. These are not earth-shattering nails, life-changing nails. These are some cute nails until we can get back to those types of nails. Okay? So I thank y'all for watching. I know that you probably thought, when she came back, we were going to do something crazy. And we will do something crazy. Just bear with us. I figured nonetheless you guys wanted to see this, hopefully, and hopefully you thumbs up. Hopefully you left like a comment of some sort, just because that's how the algorithm works, and I get views, and yeah. So thank you guys for watching so much. Thank you for your support. Don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell so you know when I upload. All right, you guys, bye.